Hi everyone, welcome to Life Tips by Ning. In today's video, I'm explaining the number one hexagram called the creative. We can obviously see all of the lines for this one is yang. So that implies the basic meaning for the creative hexagram. It means this yang equivalent of strong initiation and action to begin something. In nature, it's kind of like the tiny little seed. It encompasses so much life force and power within it so that it can sprout and push all this dirt around to come above ground. So that's a good image for this creative hexagram. But the second question is, when you read through the texture, why does it reference dragon? Where does dragon come from? It actually comes from the night sky, because the ancient people observed the sky, and there are a total of 28 constellations. And if you divide it up evenly amongst the 4 directions, each direction has 7 constellations. So when we zoom into the eastern side of these 7 constellations, drawing the line and connecting the dots, you form a pattern that's called dragon. And because the eastern side constellation has a sheer bigger size compared to the 3 other directions, people give it an implied meaning of it's the leader. It means somebody in a powerful position, which is very similar to the yang energy. That's why you see the reference of dragon to describe this creative hexagram. But in addition to this initiation, very action-oriented meaning, the creative hexagram also has this meaning of perseverance. Where does that come from? It's the same thing of observing the rhythm of the stars, the sun and the moon. It constantly following a steady and predictable rhythm that every single year at the same time, you can expect to see a very similar sign displayed on the sky. So people are like, we respect the heaven. We want to be a noble person. So I want to display the similar trait of never give up, constantly putting in hard work and perseverance. So combining these 2 powerful key ingredients of initiation, action-oriented spirit, and this hardworking attitude, I should be able to achieve great results. So that's the foundational meaning of this hexagram. Now going to individual line. Every single line doesn't fall out of the context of this hexagram, but because of the timing difference, maybe the environmental influence, they give you different recommendations. Sometimes it's you should not act versus you should actually take action and be more aggressive. Sometimes it's more reserved, take a calmer approach and wait for the time. So the first line, this person is still a very talented individual, but because it's immature timing, it's actually better to wait and take a kind of a passive approach. Passive not meaning doing nothing, because that's contradicting the whole meaning of this action-oriented, perseverance-based creative hexagram, right? So that doesn't mean don't do anything. It means don't show off your opinions or views, obviously. Rather, you should focus your energy on building up your talent, growing yourself. It's like a real life example, like a newly grad going to a workplace. Even though you're talented, you have a lot of ideas, it's actually better to observe and learn and grow yourself versus as a fresh person, you just start to give out all kinds of orders and suggestions for change. That might rub people the wrong way and give you unintended negative consequence. So once you build up enough of a self-development, you move to the second line, which is, okay, now your talents start to show. People in power start to see your talent. You're getting really desired attention. And in this case, this is a very good positive one. It means you get help from people who are more experienced or in a higher level position. They see your potential. They're here to help you and continuously growing you to support your own self-growth. So this is a positive one. And after this steady preparation, we move to the third line. And from a prior video about this foundational structure of how to understand I-Ching, right? Positionally, the third line is the transitional bordering mode, right? It's transitioning from the inner triagram to the outer triagram. So by default, it represents, because of this naturally changing situation, it gives you a lot of challenges and unexpected, maybe hardship. So what should you do about it? If you're having this cautiously diligent mentality, meaning that I'm aware of the challenges, I'm not going to display worrying or kind of instability in front of other people, but instead in my heart, I'm fully aware and I'm actively, steadily coping with it by constantly making myself stronger and stronger. If you're able to display this type of behavior, then the end result will be in a neutral position. It's not gonna have this natural tendency to cause negativity. However, if you're not able to deliver this cautiously diligent mentality and behavior, then it might deviate from the result saying in the scripture, and you might lead to a negative outcome. So that's the beauty of I-Ching. You have to use it in a flexible way. Like if you meet this condition, then you can see the result saying in the book. After we finish all of this preparation phase, you move to the fourth line, meaning that I think I'm ready, but should I take the new opportunity to step above, right? Because taking on something new, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I sense the risk. But if I don't take it, I might regret it. I think I'm ready. So you're in this go or no-go zone of constantly doubt yourself with a lot of hesitation. If you stay in this condition, then it will lead to negative results. However, if you have a flexible and adaptable mindset, meaning that I'm very keen of observing my external environment, when the opportunity comes, I won't hesitate, I will go get it. Then you'll be able to push yourself to the next level. So the importance of this fourth line is about being flexible with your decision, but don't get stuck in this hesitation mode. That will lead to negative outcome. And once you take on that opportunity, you finally get to this fifth line's position, which is with all of this preparation, constantly growing yourself, now it pays off. It's a super awesome line if you can land on this one. It's great achievement. This is the prime stage of your career, like huge accomplishment, a lot of good things happening. But we all know, like, nothing will stay in this prime state constantly. When the moon becomes so full, it's starting with the new moon again, right? So now you move to the top line, which is things will decay after maturity. So if you land on this one, it's a similar message as the first line, meaning that in this case, don't proceed further. Stop being aggressive. Stop taking action. The ideal solution is actually to back off, retrieve, so that you can preserve all this good reputation and personal branding you built throughout your career. And now it's time to let go and back off and give the chance to somebody else. And that way you can preserve it versus running the risk of damaging all this great accomplishment you've done in your life. So this one is about the risk of decaying and retrieve versus attack. So that's kind of a flow of the lines description. But last but not least, only the first and second hexagram, so the creative and the receptive, they have a applied description. The reason is only those two hexagrams are pure yang and pure yin. So this applied description means the ultimate expression of its yang or yin energy. The meaning for this applied description for the creative hexagram is a very good positive one. It means that the ultimate stage of being in a powerful position, being a leader, is that you're not being seen as a leader. It's this non-interfering way of managing and leading other people, meaning that your team is running so smoothly with highly effective cooperation to the point that you as a leader, you don't have to interfere or solve any problem. That is the ultimate showcase of your leadership style. So it's kind of a closing the loop with this creative hexagram's foundational meaning. It's about initiation, it's about perseverance, it's about kindly showing your non-interference leadership because you already achieved this ultimate stage of the positive side of the yang energy. In a practical way, when do we use this applied description, right? That goes back to after our coin or straw method, you land on a bunch of numbers. When is the scenario, every single line, all the 6 lines are either number 6 or 9, so it's all changing. Most of the time, in that situation, the primary result should be based on the newly formed hexagram and the description for that hexagram. The only exception is the first and second, because if you land on the original hexagram is the first, the creative, and every single line is a number 9, which is a very rare probability. If that's the case, your primary is actually using this applied description of non-interference leadership, which is a very positive result. So that's what, in a practical sense, what you use this applied description for. But most of the case, it's just like a conceptual thing to help us understand the meaning of this creative hexagram. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.